Good day, ladies and gents. My name is RagingRaptor, and today we are going to talk about the last lot of the 2025 Black Market, being Jason's Freight. Interesting name choice, by the way, but it's actually correct if you don't read into it too much. In any case, before we do that, I want to talk about a little thing which doesn't really affect most players, but there is a player base in World of Tanks called the Whales, or the Collector. I don't want to disingenuously talk about these type of players, because let's be honest, you can also argue that I'm a whale and I'm a collector. The main thing which is happening right here, right now, is that a collector is, at this point in time, not able anymore to have every single premium tank in the game, because you can only get one tank when you buy the lot. And it's either going to be the White Dragon or the Stone Sentinel, if you already have the Mars, which was in a previous auction event. So this right here already sparked some controversy when I was looking into Discord and talking to some people. And it only probably annoys a small portion of the World of Tanks community, but it's still an odd choice of doing it. So I don't know. I just wanted to give this as a little bit of a disclaimer, because I think I need to talk about the whole event in a separate video, because this is another set of annoyances which happened in this event which we had this year around. Not only did we have a Waffentrigger of E100, which you can talk about, it was taken away from the player for being too strong, and now you had to pay 320 euros. That is the number of money you would need and had to pay to get it. And there were even people which had to buy additional gold, but it took too long and it was sold out. Luckily enough, at least from the case of a friend of mine, he was able to contact support and get his money back for them to deduct the gold. That is fine. But that was a little bit of a poop scoop. Then we have the K91-2, which was whatever. And we also had now the selling of orders for the 279 and the 260, which is wild. But again, this should be a whole other video. Now let's talk about the potential rewards you can get, and let's talk about the two tanks you're getting. The White Dragon is a skinned KPC 07RH, and if you are lucky enough to get this vehicle and you don't have the normal KPZ, yes, it is a fun tank. It is probably one of my favorite tier 8 medium tanks in the game, as it is just very, very unique. It has some armor on the hull, it can ram people, and I think I misclicked by accident. And it has the uniqueness of a very fast firing gun with 200 alpha, but it also is able to shoot Ash. And I know I just said that the K91-2 has, with its poor alpha, doesn't really fit the meta. That is still correct. But the KPC RH is a little bit different because it is on tier 8. And not tier 9, so it can also be used in frontline, and it has the gimmick of, as already mentioned, having hash, 90mm pen, 120 more alpha, plus it has one of the highest DPMs for a medium tank on tier 8. So it basically does everything correct compared to the K91-2. So if you're lucky enough to get this vehicle, fantastic, it's a great tank. 10 out of 10, I liked it. The Stone Sentinel is a reskinned Bisonte, and you might already remember, back in the days, the Bisonte was known to be very strong. We might have even gotten a controversy like we did with the Chrysler GF, because it doesn't have any weak spot in the turret. But at this point in time, when it was released, everybody was kind of already used to it, so there wasn't really much about it. But in this day and age, the Bisonte doesn't really spark joy anymore. Already back then, its poor gun handling made it a chore to play. And that didn't really change at all. So now we have a Bisonte which, back in the days, was strong. And it's still strong, especially against the BZ-176 because of its spaced armor. There we go, the word was missing. But an XM57 is just going to completely stump in your face, because yikes, it has insane amounts of penetration. But if you get this tank, it is not too bad of a deal. The Forest Spirit, it's a Su-130 PM. It's still one of the better tier 8 TDs when it comes to sniping TDs. I think currently it's a little bit overshadowed by the S-FAC due to it having 780 burst damage in 2 shots and can do a lot of fun stuff. But it's still one of the best sniper TDs in my honest opinion, even though the gun can be a little bit derpy. So if you get that, it's totally a-okay. Now, there are 2 or 3 more tanks, and 2 of them are a little bit of a letdown for, I think, the majority of people. The Alembic is Astron Rex, and the Astron Rex is a little bit of an odd duckling. I personally enjoyed it, and I already said that I personally enjoyed in my other video when it came to the Waffentracker boxes where the Alembic was first introduced. I don't really like the style, it's a little bit odd, not my cup of tea. But the Astron Rex is fun. It's a very unique playstyle and it plays uniquely, but it's in no means overpowered or OP or very good. It's an okay tank with a unique selling point, being the 5-shot autoloader with 4 seconds in between and 320 damage and a little bit derpy gun, but being absolutely minuscule small. Like, it's basically as tall as the Iron Arnie's chassis. Well, it's a little bit taller than that, but you get the point. It feels like a very small vehicle and it really plays like that. So it is an okay vehicle if you would get it. And we then have the Paragon. One of the first reskinned tier 8 premiums, and you can see it by the skin being very flat. The thing is, the IS-3A used to be a single-shot autoloader, a single-shot loader. Then they made it to an auto-reloader, and the gun handling is still piss poor, and I've played it a few more games since it was reworked, and I still don't like it. That's why it still has very old equipment in it. I don't know, the problem is, yes, it has strong potential damage, thanks to its 3-shot auto-reloading capabilities, but it just has such a bad gun and gun handling that it's just frustrating to play, so I don't like it. And the last vehicle we are having is the Mars, which is a Prosciutto, and this one as well. The Prosciutto used to be very strong back in the days. Like, people considered this tank to be overpowered, one of the best medium tanks in the game. Going so far that they had to nerf the Pantera, and they didn't nerf the Prosciutto, they even buffed it slightly. In any case, look, the Prosciutto is still a very good vehicle. It's a little bit harder to play now due to the Bourrasque doing the same thing but faster theoretically and being easier to play in that regard. So it's not a bad vehicle. And now stands the chance, or now stands the question, and we can pose the question, is it worth it? Look, if you don't have any of these vehicles in their unskinned form, I say that 7,500 gold for any of these vehicles is very good. Because each of these vehicles has a unique selling point which makes them good in their specific niche. Yes, the Paragon doesn't have good gun handling. It still has 390 damage per shot, 3 rounds, and usually when you get into position, you can just slam them all out because it's a reversed auto reload. And the Alembic is still unique enough. But these will be the, how should we say, the not worse, but weaker tanks in this lot. The other vehicles, they're all still very decent. And I'd say, if you don't have any of these vehicles in their unskinned form, I think 7,500 gold for any of these vehicles is very good. If you already have some of them in their unskinned form, that will be rough to judge. Because if you get unlucky, you get the same tank again, and while they can still be used in frontline, don't get me wrong, it just feels a little bit awkward, you know. So yeah, this is my honest opinion on it, and I would even say, you know what? Let's buy it and let's see what we get, what we got. We got the White Dragon. I have to say, I'm happy with this personally, because I didn't have the Mars. I don't really like how it looks. At least the White Dragon, I do enjoy the looks, although this hand is a little bit odd. Why is it skeletonized? That's not how usually dragon hands look, but then again, kind of makes sense because this is a gun, not a breach, but the end of the gun barrel, you know, it's very hot, so a cat probably just burned off his stuff. I don't know. I'm just yapping BS right now. In any case, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you had fun, and keep your eyes peeled for my conclusion video on the Black Market event. Cheers, and see you around.